Hi there, and welcome back. Again, I'm Eric Nong, Artistic Director of Viet Film Fest, and you have just watched the short film set Belonging, Unbelonging. And as promised, with us today are some of the filmmakers from the films that are featured in the short film set. And I was wondering right now if we could just introduce ourselves, starting alphabetically by film title. And Mitch, I believe that begins with you.
Yeah, hi, my name's Mitch Truong. I'm the writer and director of Donna Skates, and my pronouns are she and her.
Hi, my name is Brigid Leahy, and I'm the co-writer and co-producer of Good Chips.
Hiya, my name is Nell Hensey, and I am the director and co-writer of Good Chips.
Hi, my name is Tung Lee. I'm the writer, director, and producer of Ngày, or Tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Nell, and I'm also the producer and DOP of the Ngày Tomorrow.
And we thank you all, no matter where you're coming to us from, whether you're a fellow West Coaster like myself, or out in Ireland, or out, I believe, in out in Europe. I believe out in continental Europe. Where exactly are you guys right now? Just wondering.
Oh, you mean us?
Yes.
We're from Germany.
Okay. Just making sure, because we've had a few filmmakers who are from Germany who are elsewhere right now, and a few filmmakers from France who are elsewhere right now. Anyways, going on for the entire group now, starting with Mitch, what inspired you to make your film?
Yeah, I mean, it was during the pandemic. I had gotten my roller skates maybe 2 years prior, and I was just looking for a place to roller skate and to learn more. I grew up roller skating, but I didn't know any tricks or anything. So when I found out there was a class that was outdoors, about 30 minutes away, on my first day there, I was just greeted so warmly from this community. Um, it was just something I never felt before, like immediately. And that's kind of what inspired me to make this film, because it was someone who was a great mentor. His name is Richard Humphrey. And he was just like real well beloved in this community. And I just wanted to really write like a love story to this community and that mentor.
And so Good Chips was inspired by my co-writer Nell had approached me and had found archive footage from the national broadcaster here called RTE, and it was footage of boat people arriving in Ireland in 1979. And Nell, maybe tell us about the person you saw in the footage that kind of inspired one of the characters.
Yeah, so within the footage, there was this interview done with the daughter of one of the original families who came over in 1979, and the interview takes place 10 years later. So the daughter she's a teenager, and she speaks in the thickest North Dublin accent, and she was describing how she had met her Irish boyfriend. And I thought she was just incredible and full of such character, and I knew I just wanted to write a story inspired by her character and about someone like that meeting an Irish boy. So that's kind of where the seed of the idea came in. And then I knew immediately that I wanted to bring Brigid on board. We were a part of this POC artist group called Weft Studio, which is run by the Dublin Fringe Festival, and that's how we met. And yeah, I just knew that Brigid would be the key piecing in making the story feel authentic, and she brought in so many more layers to the Vietnamese family story than I ever could. So yeah, that's kind of where it all began for us.
So Ngày or Tomorrow is based on countless true stories in Berlin or in Germany, and especially like a friend of mine happened that also exact story before. When he was a teenager, his father was deported from Germany to Thailand, back to Thailand, and a few years after that, he found out that his dad has a second family in Thailand, and that like almost more than 15 years already. And I was really shocked when I found out with him, because we were really close, me and his family. And yeah, so this was the inspiration of the story of the movie, and we had to film it to share the whole story.
Thank you, fellas. And I believe we have two late arrivals here, in Sebastian and Steve. Better late than never.
Hello.
Sebastian and Steve,
Sorry for the late.
if you could introduce yourselves. I'm hearing some feedback here.
Okay, hello. I am Sébastien Kong. I come from Paris, and I'm the correct co-director of the short movie I Am No One, and it's my friend Steve.
Hello, I'm Steve Tran. I'm the co-director of the short film I Am No One. Nice to meet you guys. Bonsoir. We're from Paris, France. So.
And likewise, guys. Sebastian and Steve, can you ask what inspired your film?
What inspired? In France, there is not real stories about Asian community. It's only the Occidental point of view in TV, in French media. So we want to make a real story about us, and about it's a point of view of a Vietnamese guy, a point of view with cliché, stigmatization, caricature of Asian in France. It's against the racism, the ordinary racism in Occident. So my friend and me want to make this short movie to show it's not. You can't judge a book by its cover. Clothes don't make the man. So Vietnamese guy is not an ordinary man. He has a real story. Story can be give a really big emotion for the audience.
Because I think because in France it's very particular, because the Asian diaspora, we don't exist in movies or in entertainment. It's complicated for us. And how I see the French industry of the cinema is like the recipe of the brownie, the cake, the American cake, the brownie, but the recipe is not full. There's a lot of flour, a lot of butter, a little bit of chocolate, but there's something missing. It's the egg yolk, and we're not in it. We're not a part of it. Like the invisibility of the Asian community, I think it's everywhere in Occident, in Europe, and also in the US. I think that's what inspired us.
Yeah.
I hope you understood, because our English is not that well. So okay. Okay.
No, I think you guys are fine. May I ask you to mute your mic when you're not speaking with Sebastian and Steve?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Can you please mute your mic?
Sorry, we have the sound off. We don't heard you.
There should be a mute button at the bottom.
Okay, mute.
Mute, okay.
Right, thank you guys. All right, we will edit that out. Gian, please make a note that around 8 minutes we need to edit that out. Okay, moving forward. So again, this is to the entire group. We are going by alphabetical order in here. And beginning with Donna Skates, how does your film comment about your characters or subjects' sense of belonging or unbelonging?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So Dawn, Unmin, she doesn't really feel like, she's like an introvert. She's an introvert kid. Doesn't really want to go make friends, doesn't want to go out to make friends. But she has a love for ice skating and roller skating. And through that, she's able to find an unlikely connection with other roller skaters, and someone who can just find her confidence and talk to, just another human being who has the same interests. So for that, it's definitely a belonging film. just finding your community, finding someone you can vibe with, finding someone who have the same interest in you. And this, it was hard back then. It's still hard now, but I felt like I wanted to really show like how the skate community really just welcomes all walks of life, all people. It's typically pretty like zany people and like fun, just like creative people who are introverts that I found. So I felt like I really connected to that community. And yeah, it was just like, it's nice to feel like you belong somewhere and like you're not like either a burden or just like an outsider. So that's where the belonging definitely is relevant in the film Donna Skates.
Thank you, Mitch. The team Good Chips now. Same question.
I think the way our film comments on belonging is we kind of explore the differences between different generations. So our main character is this 13-year-old girl, but we also see the world through the eyes of her parents and how they have really struggled to adapt to Irish culture, and how even though Ireland will never really feel like home for them, that their daughters may like they live in the hope that their daughters will be able to forge a home from this new country. And yeah, that's kind of how we explore that. And also a sense of like how the daughters are navigating like Irish culture, and like, you know, they're as much a part of the Irish story and the Irish people as the Vietnamese, and I suppose kind of the duality of those two worlds, how they intersect. Yeah, Brigid, I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, and I think another thing that we found was really important to convey was the differences in experience between the two main characters, Callum and Tam. Like, they might be around the same age, but their levels of maturity are so different, because in immigrant communities, a lot of times children are forced to grow up faster because they take on so much more responsibility. And so showing the contrast between an Irish child versus an immigrant, daughter of an immigrant, it really just shows how the childhood experience is so different between the two worlds, even though they grow up in the same space.
Okay, thank you, guys. Next question, again, we're going in alphabetical order by film title, is the Je suis Person team. Sebastian and Steve.
Yes, we wanted to talk about invisibility of an ordinary man, an Asian man, a Vietnamese man who was born in France. His family is an immigrant family from the late 70s. And we wanted to show his invisibility in the society, even in his family. Because when you have the last of a family, the last one, you have I don't know how to say in English, hierarchy, like a big brother, because you're the last one, so you can't say anything. You're the last one, so you have to do what your family ask you to do. You know what I mean? So we wanted to show also the duality between the French culture and the Asian culture, and what is it to be that kind of person, like introvert, and you feel alone in this society, you know. So maybe we talked about George Floyd also, because we talked about a lot all of the racism, the positive racism. It means like, I'm Asian, maybe I'm a bad guy, the police won't control me, but they will control the black guy because he's black. And we wanted to also show this side of our society in France.
Yes.
Right. You both cut.
Yes.
The Nyamai team, please.
Yeah, so while we have like the main characters, Mai and Zung, who have to deal with the language barriers and they're forced to adapt to the new system, it's especially hard for the character of Nam, who's like an immigrant child. And he's like copying the mannerisms and aggressions of his father at his home, and he repeats them in a new environment at school, and that's where the sense of unbelonging comes in, because the people in Germany and in this culture, in the Western culture, they frown upon the kind of behavior. They don't accept that he experienced violence at home, so he's immediately being outcast by his peers from his different way of living, and even by the teachers who are actually supposed to be guiding these kids. And that automatically leads to alienation, and Nam has to deal with being violent, and a vicious cycle begins with it. And Germany is a very heavily bureaucratic country, and it's very hard for immigrants to adapt if they don't know the language. It's like simple things like getting a form or how to fill out a form. It's almost impossible for immigrants. So what we wanted to do is put in a sense of belonging through the community, like how they have to rely on each other in order to help each other.
Thank you, guys. All right, I'm going to move into individualized questions now, beginning with Donna Skates. Mitch, how did you, your cast, and your crew, did you guys have a background in roller skating before production of the film began? And how did you, in particular, come into roller skating?
So I was always amazed by ice skating. I loved Michelle Quan. She was like the Asian American like idol for kids in the 90s, you know, like it was like we wanted to be her, but you know, we just couldn't afford it. We were, you know, just making dues and, you know, didn't have a lot of money. So I found roller skating as a kid, and just like was able to roller skate like outside my house. You know, it was just more accessible. You didn't have to go to an ice skating rink to do that. So that's why roller skating was really a big part of my life. A lot of my extras or background talent were all like either professional roller skaters, which I had no idea when they came in. They were just like, they amazed me, and I was like, and they got to just roller skate for hours at the rink, so they were like in love with that process. Um, and Angela Nguyen, actually, she never roller skated before. This was like her first time, and to me it was like, you know what, she took lessons with Richard Humphreys, and she just like was just like on like a really nice learning fun time, not only memorizing her lines but also learning how to roller skate. And it was just like kind of perfect for the film because she is a brand new roller skater, and like I didn't have to really fake that. So I thought that was like great, and at the end she like knew the basics, and that's really all you need to know. And like to make a film, like you just need to know the basics. And then, you know, the rest was history. But yeah, a lot of people were already roller skating. It was really the main character, which is she was brand new to it, and it just happened to be that way.
And regarding Angela, how was she cast in the lead role, and what was your collaboration between actress and director like?
So I worked at a acting studio previously, and they have like a teenage program there, and I was asking around for a Vietnamese American student, and I was my lucky stars. I had found her, and she was already committed to her craft, and like that's really all I needed. You know, I just needed someone committed to her craft so that, you know, she can take shape of the role. Our collaboration was super fun. It was probably like one of the most fun I had with an actor, just like just playing really like I would just ask her how she felt about the scene, and you know how she wanted to say it, or what made it form natural for her. I would ask her how comfortable she felt on skates, and basically I was also training her at the same time. Like we learned like the dance moves together at a park, and it like I just had to teach her like it's okay to you know, like be embarrassed, not be embarrassed, but you know, it's okay to like live outside of your shell and be okay with looking kind of dumb and stupid. So like as a teenager, I understand how hard that is. But I felt like I was just trying to be her like older sister and kind of teaching her the way like it's okay to be silly, you know? And I think her takeaway from this role was also just learning to be yourself.
And I think we certainly get those vibes during the course of Donna Skates. Mitch, thank you for answering those questions. To Team Good Chips, I understand that there was quite a bit of research that went into the film before you even started shooting. You were looking at Vietnamese Irish boat people. Did you have any difficulties in faithfully drawing upon their experiences and incorporating that into Good Chips?
Yeah, that was honestly what I found to be the biggest challenge, was to faithfully and accurately portray the Vietnamese Irish experience. As we know, the Vietnamese diaspora, it's so far-flung and widespread, but the Irish experience is so particular. And so what we did in order to do this as accurately as possible was I'm very close with one of the families who originally came as part of the 212 refugees that came to Ireland in 1979. And so Nell and I, we went and we interviewed the family, and we got a sense of, you know, what it was like growing up and the difficulties that they experienced. And that's really where the basis of a lot of the story came from, is just this them sharing their story with us, and also researching different materials as well, and drawing upon my research. I came to Ireland actually to do a master's degree in public history and cultural heritage, and my research project was on the Vietnamese boat people and how they commemorate the Vietnam War. So in Ireland. And so I already had a basis for this. So when Nell approached me to do Good Chips, you know, it was a match made in heaven, because I had already done extensive research on the group here, and I was also very close with a family who had originally come here as well.
And on that as well, like that family was just so good to us. Like they let us into their home and into their auntie's home and fed us and gave us loads of props and loads of things, and like that you see in the film are from that community. And in casting as well, especially for the dad, we work with the casting director, Anya O'Sullivan. But we really struggled to find the dad character for a long time, and we got tapes in from like the UK and in Germany, but just none of them were really fitting. But actually, when we went to the restaurant to interview one of the original immigrants, we were like one of the father-in-law, or not the father-in-law, Brigid, the Joe, who is like, he's like the son-in-law, should I say, of the restaurant owner. And he works in the restaurant as a waiter as well. He has never acted in his life, but was very interested to send in a tape. And so we gave him the script, and he sent in a tape. And even though we'd gotten these tapes from all these like very experienced actors with agents and all that kind of stuff, like Joe's tape just stood out like a mile. And I think it was his personal connection to the project, and being able to draw from those stories authentically that really kind of helped. And yeah, so that was another way we kind of brought in the reality of it into our story.
Okay, thank you both. In addition to that, how did Nell, you grow as director, and Brigid, how did you grow as a writer over the course of making Good Chips?
Well, it was both Brigid and I's first time co-writing. We've written separately before, but I think that was a really amazing collaboration, and it's one we're continuing up to now. As a director, I'd never worked in like a piece set in like a period era, so like it's all 80s, so like, you know, the cars and like the clothes and everything. That was a fun challenge. And then of course you're working with kids and you're working with first time actors, so in a way you have to approach the style differently than you would with trained actors. But in a way, like, a lot of actors have to unlearn things in order to make things feel natural. But when we were working with these kids and these first time actors, like they're just so real already, and they almost are the characters. So it was a different way of going about directing, but a very fulfilling one. And like the performances, they all shine so bright in this film. And yeah, it was just it gave me a new sense of how to direct, and I loved it. I would definitely work with those guys and more first time actors again, definitely.
Yeah, I would say Good Chips tested me in so many ways, and was really a fantastic learning experience. And as a writer, I would say the biggest thing I learned was writing to what is doable. It was my first time being a producer as well, and that's something that I hadn't experienced before, is the hands-on experience of going through the entire process and helping with the producing and realizing how much goes into you know, making a film, a short film, and, you know, writing. While it is very important and stuff, what's more important is whether or not it's doable, it fits within the budget, and, you know, you're able to find the right actors to play these parts. So that was such a great learning experience for me as well. And of course, just working with Nell and collaborating with Nell, it was really great, and really enjoyed the co-writing experience.
All right. Thank you, Brigid and Nell. We're going to shift over to France now for Jason Brisson. And I'm wondering, Sebastian and Steve, how did you two meet, and what was your artistic collaboration like during the making of your film?
Tu commences?
Ouais. Okay. I met Steve because we live in the same city. Well, I'm 20 years ago. I am a cameraman, an operator camera, and Steve is an actor, and he contacted me to make a project with me. And so we think about this project a lot of years ago, and so we decided to direct this short movie together about in our city, Leung. Leung is a city with the most Asian community in France. It's 25 kilometers from Paris, and we work with 40 technicians to help us. We have Asian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, Vietnamese restaurant, Thai, Cambodian restaurant to help us free to give food for the movie free. We pay no money, so that's very good. We are like a family, and we work with respect, full, and everybody is equal. Nobody better than other, and it's very fun filming. Yes.
we met like 15 years, like 20 years ago. It was on MySpace.
Oh, MySpace.
And
Well, okay.
I thought I was because there's not a lot of Asian actors in France. So I started my career when I was 13 years old. I'm 38 now, and I was looking for an Asian director because I wanted to write stories about us. And I met this guy on MySpace, and he said, "Hey, come on, man! I have a camera. Let's do something."
MySpace, really.
And we did our first short movie 10 years ago. But for I Am No One, Je Suis Personne, Sébastien is very good with the camera. He's a technician, and I'm an actor, so I had to direct the other actors. So this is how we work together. We can understand each other because we're best friends, like brothers. So just a look between us and we understand what we have to do. So it was easy and smooth.
Yes.
So the collaboration was very cool and we felt like a big family. That's true, because the Asian community helped us.
Yes.
Because it's the first time that there was something for us, and they were very they were hyped. They wanted to help.
Yes.
So it was great.
Yes. Asian community in Paris and in Logne help us for
everything.
For everything, yes.
Everything.
Yes, it's incredible. And we have an Occidental French technician in our crew. And I am surprised because they discover Asian culture, Vietnamese culture, and they love that after the filming, we finish the movie, they want to discover more Vietnamese culture.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear both of you. May I ask why on a heavy use of narration in Je suis Person? You guys are still muted.
Oh, come on. Like people thinking like the French guys are so funny. It's a dramatic movie. It's not a comedy. And why there's a voice always, because why the narration is heavy, because we want it to be in our main character head, because he's invisible. Nobody can see him. Nobody wants to talk to him. Nobody is interested in him. So we wanted we wanted the audience to be in his head.
Okay, thank you both. We go east to Germany now, and to Team Yamai. So this was a student film at the Berlin University of Applied Sciences and Technology. What lessons from your studies there made the greatest impact on you while making your film?
So this was a graduation film of Nell, and our school is it's not a very wealthy school, if I may say so, because we don't have a lot of resources. So we had to learn how to work with as little as possible. We had just a little bit of equipment, and we just hoped that a good story or a touching story could carry the film. So our greatest challenge was trying to be creative and work with our limitations that we had.
Now, did you want to add to that?
No. Also, maybe another big lesson for us is that the German cinema is pretty white, I'd say that. And they're still they want to be so diverse, but it's really they're trying so hard that's almost fail every time.
Yeah, it comes across very, very forced.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find a way to tell genuine stories from the actual community for the community.
I have to compliment Yamai. I think it is one of the most effective uses of two languages in the entire festival, in this case German and Vietnamese, to set up a sort of conflict. Can you speak more about how the conflicting uses of German and Vietnamese in your film provide a sense of displacement among the characters and for the viewer?
Yeah, so it's already clear from the start that the language barrier is a huge challenge for our main characters. Mai barely speaks any German, and after her husband gets deported, she gets no information about it whatsoever. She doesn't know the reason, and this guy from I don't know how to say it in German, in English, the guy who works for the government, he comes and he talks about it in bureaucratic German, which is very complicated. So she has no idea what's going on. And so she has to bring in, or she gets the help from her neighbor, who is also an immigrant, but she can't speak German. So she helps our main character getting through the situation and helps her trying to get her husband back. And it just shows what kind of challenges immigrants have to face here in Germany, and like how stranded they are if they cannot get any help.
I think the term that you were looking for was social worker. I think that's what we were going for.
Yeah.
Yep, there you are. Okay, for the last round of individual questions, I'm going to go back to Dawn of Skates. Mitch, the Santa Cruz Roller Palladium, famous landmark in town, is prominently featured in the film. How did you decide upon using the Palladium?
Literally the first time I walked in. I think I was just so it felt like going into a time capsule. I had never been there before, even when I was going to school here. I had just discovered it after I went to college, and just roller skating in there. I was like, damn, I need to film something in here because it's such a throwback to like my childhood, and they kept everything intact so well that I was just like, this is like a great like landmark time capsule area. And I was just really glad that they kept everything the same so that when we went in, we didn't really have to change much. Maybe they used to have like a booth for like food and stuff. So we definitely had to add in like selling food and selling drinks, which is kind of sad that they don't do that anymore. But I guess they don't have like the funding for it. But now it's just roller skating. But just the environment and the ambiance and the vibe was just exactly what I was looking for. And I think I probably manifested it, like that I was going to film here, because I was just like, I need to. And then like a couple years went by and I was like, I had the opportunity to, and I just like ran with it. So that is why I used the Palladium.
And I know the staff there helped you quite a bit too. So a shout out to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Thank you, Mitch. Good Chips. When you submitted to VIF, you said that this was the first Irish film to feature a majority Asian cast. So I'm wondering, how was the reception been in Ireland, and what has surprised you the most about the domestic reception?
Yeah, so Ireland is predominantly Caucasian, and there is a significant gaping hole in the film canon here of, you know, I don't think there's very many immigrant stories told here, especially from a person of color's perspective. And when we premiered at the Dublin International Film Festival. We had a sold out crowd, which was amazing. And we also were nationally broadcast on one of the channels here. And we had an extremely great reception. So I think people want to know more about the Nguyen family, and we've had such a great response. So I think there is an appetite in Ireland for the immigrant story. And I think that was what was so refreshing about Good Chips, was that it was told from the perspective of a family that isn't typically showcased on Irish screens.
Nell, did you want to contribute to that?
I think Brigid kind of said most of it, but yeah, I think I remember the morning after our broadcast, and the broadcasters came back and they told us that 32,000 people had tuned in, and it was on like a Thursday at like 11 at night. So, you know, that was really big for us, because like even with film festivals, you can only ever reach so many. So I think TV was like a really interesting way for us to connect with new audiences. And we were also on the Virgin Media streaming service as well. So it kind of just continued to gain traction then for the next few weeks. And yeah, I think like the population is majority Caucasian for sure, but like, you know, it's also Ireland is becoming more international every day, and I think people are just ready to see themselves, or at least, you know, new faces for once. And like, just because, and even for Irish or Caucasian audiences, I think they, like, even though they don't belong to a certain group of people, I think you can still have empathy for and find relatability in their experience. So like I like, we had audience members saying that like they relate to both Tam and Callum, and I think that's really important as well. So yeah, it's been a great reception, I have to say. Really, really positive and optimistic about it. Yeah.
Right. Glad to hear, and may it continue with VIF too. To Je suis Person, a bit of a heavy question here. How do you see your film in terms of the commentary on ethnic and racial tensions in France?
Wow. You know, in France, it's very complicated, very, very complicated. Our politics is very complicated, and I think since 2016 and after the COVID, the racism against the Asian community grew up, explode. You know, so when we showed the movie to a lot of people, we didn't show it only to Asian people. We showed the movie to Black people, Caucasian, everyone, and they were like very surprised, because it was the first time for them, like you, my friend, in Ireland, you know, a story about an Asian guy or an Asian family, especially Vietnamese. Like, we are not all Chinese. I don't know if you have this problem, guys, but in France, when you're Asian, you're automatically Chinese.
Yes.
So we wanted to show the movie to everyone, even the Caucasian, Arab, Black people, and the reception was very good, you know. Especially there's a scene when we do the police control with I say I hope they won't stay on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Like, everyone knew that we were talking about George Floyd, and the other communities were very touched by this scene in our movie, because it's not especially only for Asian. It's talking about social invisibility first, because we're human before Asian. You know what I mean? And this is what we wanted to show. But in present day, yes, in France, it's quite complicated. Still complicated for us, for the Asian community and the others. Still complicated.
And now the new generation of Asian community work about it against racism, about integration, promotion of our culture with modern code language, with social media, and because our parents and older generation had not the time to do it, because they have only worked for raising children for their success. So now people like us do it for it's important for our culture.
Yes,
and
it's a kind of a transmission for us, because now our parents, they arrive in France and they have to survive.
Yes.
And we were born here, so we can dream. So we want to do transmission to the other generation, like, hey guys, you can do it. You can take a camera, you can write a story, you can have feelings, guy, and you can show, you can be proud of being Asian. C'est bon?
Yes. So
and voilà.
Yes.
Love is all.
Yes, okay.
Dạ, em chỉ muốn nói tiếng Anh của hai anh rất là giỏi. Yeah, I don't know any French.
Come on. We try. Elle a dit qu'on parlait bien vietnamien. Anglais.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to mention, Steve and Sebastian, when you were mentioning that when you know, Asians and French are sometimes labeled as Chinese, and you mentioned are good chips, and you mentioned good chips. I had to laugh because just so everybody knows, and the audience knows, none of the filmmakers have seen each other's films yet. And this scene in Good Chips where that same dynamic exists, where one of the characters is accidentally labeled as Chinese, is thought of as Chinese. So I had to get a laugh out of that. So, Sebastian and Steve, merci. To Tung and Now, your final individualized question: how does your film comment upon the status of immigrant and refugee policies in Germany, and where is that going right now, I wonder?
So German immigration laws are pretty harsh here to foreigners, and they are very rarely helpful, and if you don't understand the language. So even if you abide by the rules, there will always be unforeseen consequences or problems. And we independently filmed and wrote the film while there was an actual case of deportation going on in Germany about the family farm in Chemnitz. The father, he involuntarily stayed more than 6 months in Vietnam due to a surgery, and that's past the allowance of the immigration laws. And even though he had been in Germany for more than 30 years, he had a family, a job, and a house, Germany still decided to deport him and his entire family back to Vietnam. And there was this huge uproar, and people started to demonstrate against it. And Germany just turned away, and they still went through with the deportation. And it just shows how unforgiving the system here is. And that's actually the main antagonist of our film. Like, we just wanted to criticize like the immigration laws over here and the whole system. Yeah.
And I thank you both for bringing that up. I want to say that it sometimes can be very difficult to make a political statement in a film without it being artful. And I think you guys were able to do that just fine. So it's credit to you and your film. And I'm so glad it's here at VIF, and danke to both of you. Last question, and this applies to everybody. Let's go in order. So Mitch will start us off. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with the audience? And do you have any final projects that you would like to share?
My final thoughts is I'm so amazed that I'm like meeting other Vietnamese people from around the world, and I'm like ecstatic. This is like super cool for me. Like I haven't really met any other Vietnamese folks outside of the US other than Vietnam. So I think this is like such an amazing program that I get to meet all of you guys. And it's so nice to be represented in other countries. You know, it's like, heck yeah, so dope. I don't have, like, I'm in the process of a play right now. It's just like it's a short 10-minute play, so that's my focus right now, and that's going to be playing at the local community college at Cabrillo this winter. So that's about it.
Yeah, just what Mitch was saying, it is fantastic to see so many Asian faces on a screen that are also filmmakers around the world, and so this is such a fantastic space to be a part of. Future projects. So Nell and I are working on the feature film script for Good Chips, so we're currently in development for that. So you know, watch this space. Nell, anything you want to
add? No, just that we're super excited. It's still early days yet, but yeah, everyone just loves the film over here, and they just want more. So we're like more than happy to return to these characters in this world. So hopefully all goes well.
Vas-y. Commence, vas-y.
We both of us, we are we actually writing a TV series because our short movie, I Am the One, a big company, big French production bought it. So yeah, thank you. We are writing, and we are 4 writers, all Asian. So it will be the first French TV series with the Asian diaspora.
With Vietnamese family.
Yes, from France.
Like
so that's
hero.
cool. It's the first time ever. And Sebastian and I are producing also a podcast video and a media called Ban Mi Media.
Yes.
So we produce this.
Yes.
So it's very cool.
Yes, we produce about Asian people in Paris, in Europe, and we want to make a bridge with Asian from USA, from Germany, from Ireland, from Asia,
from everywhere.
And it's. I'm happy because 2 days ago I co-founded my wife, who is co-founder of this Ban Mi Media, met Michelle Yeoh, discuss with her, and Michelle Yeoh support Ban Mi Media now, and we have a photo with her, and we are very happy now because she won an Oscar, and she met us to say we need to meet people in Los Angeles to make this bridge to be together in for
yes, and we are very, very, very happy and honored to be with you guys. So that's true. It's so good to see you guys are filmmakers from all around the world. So we can't wait to meet you guys in real life if you want one day, and it could be great to meet you guys.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
So we both actually working close with a Chinese-German director right now, Liu Haodou, and he's part of Berlin Asian Film Network. And we are working on a TV show, working on Viet German people's everyday lives in an impressionist, surrealist kind of way. And we're also working on a feature film, a kind of mix of wuxia and romance kind of thing, you know. So we just doing our best to get some flavor into the white German film world.
Yes, we also want to thank you, all you guys, for being part of this, and also for us letting be part of this whole thing. It's really great experience for us.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
And I thank all of you. VIF is unique. It's one of a kind. It's the only festival of this size that features Vietnamese and Vietnamese diasporic cinema. And I'm so happy that all of you get to play into that tradition. And it's 20 years strong, and I hope it goes on for much, much longer. To all of our filmmakers today, to Mitch, to Brigid, to Nell, to Sebastian and Steve, to Tung and Now, I thank you all. I know it's late in Europe right now, but I'm so happy that we were all here and we were able to discuss all of your films. And for those of you who have not seen their films yet, I hope you get the chance to do so. That concludes this Q&A for the short film set of Belonging, Unbelonging. Again, I'm Eric Nong, Artistic Director of Viet Film Fest. Viet Film Fest continues virtually through Sunday, October the 15th, and we hope you can catch some more films, whether it be a feature or a short film set like this one going on, and we will hopefully see you soon. Thank you.